Finding that perfect match on the academic job market can be really hard. It's not just about finding the perfect research group, the perfect university or research institution. It's also about finding the perfect supervisor. And when that interview talk comes up and your potential supervisor asks you, "Do you have any questions?" there are some you should definitely not forget to ask. So as an undergrad or grad student, a doctoral student, or even a postdoctoral or teaching assistant looking for a new position, the first thing you should be asking is, what do you expect? What do you expect of a student or an associate? And within this answer, your potential supervisor will immediately reveal their personality and how they deal with their group, with their employees and with their collaborators. They might say, "I like when my students work on their own." If you're a type of person who is at the beginning stages of their research career, this might not be ideal for you. So you want to start off by knowing these things. And related to this question, you would also probably ask, how often do you expect to meet? Sometimes researchers can be really busy. Principal investigators might be traveling 80 to 90% of their time, and this might mean you won't get to talk to them more than once in a semester. However, some others prefer having a really close relationship with their students and collaborators. I know principal investigators who will meet with their PhD students every day to discuss, to work together. And some just wash their hands and let their students do whatever they enjoy doing most. Depending on your personality and your way of working, you might prefer one or the other. But it's always important to know before you accept a potential job offer. Now, you might be thinking it would be a great idea to talk to the students or group members of this potential supervisor in advance. And in a way, yes, but you can imagine yourself in their position. Would you tell the truth if it was negative? It's always a good idea to try to find former group members of your potential supervisor who are not in academia anymore, so whose job prospects don't depend on what they have to say about their former supervisor. Talk to them, see both the positive and the negative reviews they have to say, and decide whether this is the right choice for you. It's really common for current group members to have only positive things to say, but that only gives you half of the picture. You need to look deeper into this, because you never know how long this academic position of yours might last. And that's another thing you should be asking. How long do you expect me to stay? This is especially dangerous for PhD students going into different countries or postdoctoral researchers who might not know the different standards. So a PhD student in one country might be expected to work for 7 years and in another for 2. And you don't know unless you ask. And related to that, an important question is, of course, funding. Will you have your own funding? How is funding organized? Is your contract funded through the institution or through a grant of the supervisor themselves? Do they expect you to use it for travel? Do they have special funds for you to go to conferences, to publish your papers? These are all extremely important questions, and they should make the difference between whether you want to go and spend several years of your life in this working environment or not. It's not all just about the research. It's also about your duties. Do you have the perks of funding? Do you have the perks of working on what you want? Do you, on the other hand, have some teaching duties or other responsibilities you need to take care of? In most cases, research groups are really difficult to guess from the outside. It might be that new group members are expected to do 5 hours of teaching a week, and that might hinder your working schedule if you're not the type of person who enjoys it. On the other hand, there are research institutions that prevent their employees to participate in teaching at universities. And if you do enjoy it, you might have a really bad time for those several years. So when your potential supervisor asks you, what would you like to know? Ask them what they expect. You will learn so much about your potential position and about all the pros and cons within it. But never forget to dig up those former group members who are not working in the field anymore, because those are the people who can tell you how things really are. It doesn't affect their career. I wish it were different, but this is the best way of knowing. Always ask, because once you're in the group, once your contract is signed, it's too late. And you will be there for several years. So make sure that you love it, that you know what you're doing, and that this is the perfect match for you.